Hello, good morning students of class 11 commerce. Welcome to Padnasa's virtual class on statistics. And today we are going to discuss the theory part of the numerical part. Till now we were discussing the from the very introduction and the very first part of statistics, and students were not going to waste more time in discussing the theory part because more important is the numerical parts, that is the statistical tools or different statistical tools and how to use them to estimate or to calculate or to analyze our data. So when we receive multiple data, that means a very massive amount of data, that at the same time we cannot make analysis of the whole data, the whole universe. Universe means the population, the mass of the population. That means all the value totally makes the universe of the statistical analysis. So we need to condense them, and the main thing in statistical analysis is that to find a very singular figure or a singular value that would represent the entire complex data. Means thousands of information we have, but at the same time we cannot make use of all those thousand values. That's why we have to find out a singular value that will represent the entire population of the statistical analysis or inquiry. So in that context, we will try to understand what is measure of central tendency. Measure of central tendency, you are quite acquainted with these things, that how to calculate, how to find out the mean of the series, the median of the series, or the mode of the series. You all have already learned these things in your class 10 statistics. But some more statistical tools we are going to discuss here, like dispersion, measure of dispersion, like measure of correlation, and many more. Index number, many more are there. But we would start our discussion from the measure of central tendency and how we are going to define the phrase measure of central tendency. So suppose we have got hundreds or thousands of information or values regarding our statistical inquiry. So we are not interested in all the values at the same time because we cannot make use of them. That's why we need to find one representative value, a single value that is going to represent the entire set of data or the entire set of information. And that singular value that represents the entire population is called the measure of central tendency, or in a simple layman's language, it is an average. So when it came the word average, we are going to first discuss what are different types of average. So you can see here in this flowchart that some averages are positional, that means they represent a position in the entire series. Those are called positional average. And some average are mathematical in nature. Those are called mathematical average. Some averages and some other averages are also there. So you can see the list here. In positional average comes median. You are already acquainted with that. And comes mode. Also you are acquainted with that. And in mathematical averages comes arithmetic mean, you are already acquainted with that, and geometric mean and harmonic mean. And in other averages comes moving average, then composite average and progressive average. But the syllabus of class 11 commerce doesn't contain all these types of averages. Hence, we will limit our discussion only to median, that is how to calculate median of a series, then mode, how to calculate mode of a series, and simply arithmetic mean, not even geometric or harmonic mean. However, in mathematics you might be acquainted with geometric mean and harmonic mean. It doesn't matter, but we are going to discuss only in statistics three averages, that those are arithmetic mean, which has mathematical property, and we will discuss it later, and median and mode. Median and mode being positional average, and arithmetic mean being the mathematical average. And the remaining averages are out of our syllabus. So, before learning the procedure or the way how to find out arithmetic mean or median or mode, before going to that numerical parts or numerical area, we will learn or we will discuss a few characteristics, a few theoretical points like objectives and function of an average. The first thing, theoretical thing about an average, and the other is essentials of a good average. That means what are the qualities that makes an average good. So first we are going to discuss objectives and function. Objectives means why at all we should learn the way to find out or calculate mean, median or mode. Those are the objectives. So why we need an average? Due to these 5 reasons, one by one we will discuss. The first one being to present complex data in a summarized form. When we collect the data, it is quite complex in nature, and we need to make a summary of that, and the average is the summarized form of a complex data. That means it is quite simpler form. Means by observing little we can know about more. That's the objective. So to present complex data in a summarized form. The second one being to facilitate comparison. To facilitate comparison. That means suppose we found out the per capita income of India, that is total GDP divided by total population. So in an average, one person earns how much, that is per capita income of India, and the same thing we can calculate for USA, and in this way we can make a comparison and tell that whether the standard of living or the earning potential of Indian people are more or that of the USA is more. So it facilitates comparison. Average facilitates comparison. The third one being to facilitate decision making. So see, students, once a problem is detected, we collect data related to that problem. After that, we make analysis of that data, and on the basis of the analysis of the data, we need to make some decision, some curative decision. And obviously, average helps us in making the right decision. Then the fourth point being to establish relationship. Also, in our economic studies or statistical studies, often we establish relationship because different concepts are related to each other, just like the price of a commodity and the demand of a commodity. And we can find the average of the price that we have collected, and we can find the average of quantity demanded of a commodity that we have collected, and in that way we can establish the relationship whether the price of a commodity and the demand, quantity demanded of a commodity are related to each other or not. In this way, the average facilitates what? Comparison between different units of different concepts. Then the last point being to facilitate statistical analysis. We collected data, we make the arrangement, after that we made the representation, after that we made the analysis, and the last point being what? We will find a solution. So in this entire series, just try to remember statistics in singular sense. It involves these 5 stages. So to facilitate statistical analysis, whenever we make a statistical analysis, we cannot deal with complex data. That's why an average like mean or median or mode is always handy, is always more convenient to make a statistical analysis. So in this way, these 5 things are the objectives or function of an average. So now we are going to start. What are the qualities that makes an average a good one? The same way, first point being clearly defined. That means it must not be complex. It should be so clearly defined. Clear definition, what does it mean? It means that it should be so clear, the process of finding an average should be so clear that if Mr. A is finding what the result he is getting, the Mr. B must be getting the same result, Mr. C getting the same result, Mr. D getting the same result. If result is always same, then we can say that the process is clearly defined. The second property being, so unless an average is clearly defined, it cannot be called a good average. Next, representative. That means the average, which is a singular value, it must represent the entire data. Just I would like to cite one small example here. Suppose Mr. A's income is 100 rupees, Mr. B's income is 100 rupees, and Mr. C's income is 1 crore rupees. Now find the average. What average we will get by adding these 3 and dividing it with 3? Just remember the method to find arithmetic mean. That is sum of all the values divided by number of values. So here what figure we are getting, that is neither representing the income of A and nor representing the income of B. Hence we cannot say that it's a good average. Hence an average must be the representative value. That means it must be representing all the values of the population. The third point being easy to understand. Yes, it should be the method to find out an average, or the average itself should be very clear, very easy to understand. It must not involve some complex or very tough knowledge or specialization to understand the average. Means यानी layman, आम आदमी के भी समझ में आ जाना चाहिए. That is easy to understand. Then capable of further algebraic treatment. This is also called the mathematical properties of an average. So an average is capable of further algebraic treatment. Means once we calculate the average, if we can use the same average or the same value or same representative value for any other statistical inquiry, then we can say that it has a mathematical property or it is capable of further algebraic treatment, like mean, median, to some extent median and mean. Mean is totally, they are capable of further algebraic treatment. Like when we try to find it or we try to measure the measure of dispersion, it is yet another statistical tool. We need the averages like mean or median. In correlation, we need in standard deviation, we need mean or median. So in that way, we can say that mean and median are such averages which are capable of further algebraic treatment. The fifth point being not affected by extreme values. Just see, a good average must not be affected by extreme values. So in that way, see, here we found the average income of 3 people, A, B and C. So here the sum being 1 crore and 200 rupees divided by 3 would result in a very huge number. And that number is neither representing A nor representing B properly, neither representing C properly. That's why we can say that here in this case The average what we found or calculated is being affected by the presence of one extreme value, that is 1 crore. This is one extreme value present in the population or in the values. So a good average must not be affected by extreme values, and average must be an absolute value. That means an absolute number, not a relative number like a number that is expressed in percentage or in fraction. It is not absolute number. So average, what we calculate or estimate, must be an absolute value. So these are all things what we need to understand before we enter into the discussion of finding out how to find out different averages like arithmetic mean, median and mode. So tomorrow onwards we are going to start arithmetic mean, and don't panic. Just today only I am trying to send, of course I am sending the PDF of statistical lessons what we have already discussed. Thank you and have a nice day.